Coming up next, another overnight sensation who sounds like Siri on 3% battery. Brought to you by The Machine.
Goodbye! Bye! Good night! Good night!
This is what I want you to do.
Shut the fuck up!
DJ Khaled! DJ!
DJ, leave! 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 Yellow club! 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 Get off the fucking stage!
Ever wonder why you keep seeing the same faces, hearing the same trash, and watching people win awards for doing nothing? There's a reason for this bullshit. Now let's start the bullshit. There's a lot of agendas in this world. Some are noticeable, some are hidden. But what if I tell you there's an agenda that has both all together? The machine agenda.
I don't know how you could ever believe that Doechii, in her first year of getting any real mainstream success and notoriety, just instantly had 60 million monthly listeners. Like, let's be serious, bro. Let's be serious, nigga. No, she did not have 60 million monthly listeners organically. Because we really got to think about 60 million monthly listeners. How many monthly listeners does Rod Wave have? Rod Wave has 6.3 million monthly listeners. This is Rod Wave. If you're not a Rod Wave listener, you would think he's like just another rapper. But Rod Wave is like a big name, nigga. NBA Youngboy has 21 million monthly listeners on Spotify. And at this time, this was the same amount as Playboi Carti, who had just dropped his new album, I Am Music, or Music. She had more monthly listeners than Playboi Carti, fresh off of a #1 chart-topping album that everybody was listening to. Nigga, it doesn't even like add up. This shit had 30 songs, and you're telling me that she has 60 million monthly listeners off an album that dropped last year? No, nigga, this shit was fake. This shit was fake as hell. Like,
artist in the world.
Really think about the logistics of that, though. She would have had 60 million monthly listeners off of an album that dropped the summer before that. That doesn't even make sense. That's stupid. This is still kind of crazy for me personally, but granted, I'm not her target demographic. I'm not her target audience.
This isn't about talent. It's about control. And the media machine has an agenda. The term the machine agenda is a system of powerful corporations, labels, and media outlets, pushing pre-packaged personalities for profit and control. We live in a world where fame no longer rises naturally. It is engineered. What we call the machine agenda is not just celebrity culture, media bias, or record label promotion. It is a system, a coordinated ecosystem where powerful institutions decide what faces become visible, what voices get amplified, and what narratives dominate the culture. At the center of this machine are corporations, labels, advertisers, streaming platforms, media publishers, and algorithm-driven tech companies. Their goal is simple: turn attention to profit and influence into power. They do this by packaging personalities, scripting public perception, and repeating images. Headlines, songs, and trends until familiarity becomes belief. The more you see something, the more real it feels. The easier it becomes to accept. This is the agenda, not just to entertain people, but to shape what people admire, what they repeat, and eventually what they think. The first weapon of the machine is repetition. Companies don't sell products anymore. They sell identity, narratives, lifestyles, heroes, villains, important voices, manufactured relevance. Modern corporations no longer just own brands, they own ecosystems of influence. And I mean that shit literally. For example, just look at major entertainment companies like Universal Music Group, Sony Group Corporation, and Warner Music Group don't distribute songs. They operate through label partnerships, PR agencies, playlist teams, media relationships, licensing networks, award campaign divisions, influencer seeding, trend forecasting, and social media ad buys. The artist becomes less of a creator and more of a product launch. I mean, it's not rocket science. It's all in your face. You ever wonder how somebody with 0 bars, no stage presence, and the personality of a wet sock gets millions of streams, magazine covers, and award nominations? Simple. They're part of the machine. Let's call it what it is. Universal Music Group, Sony, Interscope, Rock Nation. These aren't just record labels. They're information monopolies. They control the radio stations, the YouTube front page, the TikTok trends, the Spotify algorithm, and even the editors of magazines like Complex, Billboard, and Rolling Stone. That artist discovery moment you thought was authentic? Nah, that was a label campaign in disguise. They make it look like he just popped off on TikTok, when really his dad's a billionaire and the label's been paying for promo and bots, and influencers post for months. Organic fame is dead. Everything's pre-planned like a Marvel movie. Music labels like Universal and Rock Nation don't just sign artists. They build entire celebrity ecosystems, like press runs, brand deals, sponsor interviews, podcast circuits, reaction channels, and fake viral moments. Hey yo, by the time you think you discovered the artist, the machine has already spent 6 figures, making sure you would. The independent artist somehow got a Times Square billboard, 3 late night interviews, and a sneaker collab before dropping a mixtape. Sure, totally organic. News isn't news anymore. While you were busy watching who wore what at the Grammys, CNN, MSNBC, NBC, ABC, and CBS were busy serving you reheated propaganda with a side of corporate seasoning. These outlets don't care about truth. They care about clicks, control, and contracts. They're all funded by the same advertisers, banks, pharmaceutical companies, and political machines. So they run whatever narrative keeps the dollar flowing. Real stories gets buried. Manufactured outrage gets boosted. Shit, CNN would tell you it's breaking news while it's been broken since last week. It's just dressed up in HD graphics and a panic anchor voice. They'll make you love a celebrity, then cancel them next week, all for engagement. It's WWE with suits. Award shows are expensive. If you still believe the Grammys, Oscars, or MTV Awards are about marrying, I got a bridge to sell you. Beyonce's name engraved on it. Major award shows are controlled by the labels and media networks that sponsor and own the artists. UMG artists like Kendrick Lamar, Beyonce, and Taylor Swift aren't just winning. They're handpicked as part of the industry's marketing cycle. You think that win was about artistry? Nah, it's about ROI. Return on image. Kendrick dropped a deep album and won. Cool. But 6 underground artists dropped masterpieces that didn't even get a mention. Why? They ain't signed to the machine. It's not rocket science where you can compare the ones who got Grammys and the ones who don't. Grammys were never about the culture. It's about popularity contests and who kissed the most ass behind the scenes. Sometimes they pay for these awards to win, but you can't tell these fans anything. And I mean that shit literally. And don't even get me started on Meryl Streep. She could blink dramatically and get an Oscar. It took years for Leo to finally get his award. Will had to embarrass himself to get it. Shit was never about talent. The machine is behind all of this. Don't believe me? Watch this former employee who worked for the Grammys and hear what she said.
You have to tell your truth. You have to tell your truth.
Deborah Dugan says last week the Recording Academy offered her millions of dollars if she would keep her silence. She refused.
Is the awards process corrupt? It's rigged.
12,000 Academy members vote to determine the top 20 nominees for a Grammy Award. But Dugan, alongside her attorney, says committees who pick the final nominees can be influenced.
You're saying that in some cases, the nominating process has the involvement of people who have an interest in the nominations, artists who might be nominated are in the room. Absolutely.
And not just the artists, it's the people who have business affiliations with the artists as well.
Could represent the artist.
Are in the room.
Yes.
What about the allegation that artists have made that it is predominantly white, that the decisions are being made by males? Is that true?
It is true. It's predominantly white males that call the shots.
She says Sunday night, artists up for Song of the Year took spots from Ariana Grande and Ed Sheeran.
When you move somebody up, somebody comes out. And I was in the room and I did see that happen.
The Academy said today spurious allegations claiming members or committees use our process to push forward nominations for artists they have relationships with are categorically false, misleading, and wrong. Dugan took over the Academy from CEO Neil Portnow and is now making dramatic accusations about him.
It is, I believe, a fact that he, as the head of the Recording Academy, did have sex with a young woman who would love to get a Grammy. And so that in itself, I think, is a fireable offense.
But Portnow says the board's executive committee conducted an investigation and he was completely exonerated. The Academy also says Dugan never raised these grave allegations until after her former assistant filed a complaint against her for a toxic and intolerable work environment and engaging in abusive and bullying conduct.
Were you abusive?
I was not abusive.
Dugan says musical artists are reaching out in support, while Grammy organizers blame her for stealing music's big night. Kate Snow, NBC News, New York.
She said it was rigged and got fired from this. Stuff like this is happening behind the scenes people don't seem to realize. Most major award systems are heavily influenced by industry relationships, campaign budgets, and institutional voting bodies. It's not always about who had the best work. It's about who had the strongest rollout behind the work. Award shows don't just crown winners, they shape cultural memory. When millions of people see the same winners being repeated across media, it reinforces the illusion of unanimous agreement, so the public starts believing. If they keep winning, they must be the best, even when thousands of other artists are equally or more talented but less visible. At some point, the award show becomes less about who deserves it and more about who the machine already invested in this year. Shit, it's not just "and the winner is," it's "and the rollout continues." Bro said the album was a classic after hearing the intro and getting invited to the release party. Some people don't protect the culture, they profit from narrating it. From Kendrick to Beyonce to Taylor Swift and Meryl Streep, these artists are talented, but in the machine-driven industry, talent alone is rarely the only factor. Visibility, campaign strength, and industry positioning all play a role. Who becomes the face of an era? And once awards define who the culture remembers, the next step is controlling what people see every day. Through charts, streams, and algorithmic numbers that look like proof, but are often shaped behind the scenes. You ever wonder how an artist with 500K followers and no talent somehow gets 10 million streams in a week? Welcome to the world of bot farms, algorithmic manipulation, and streaming fraud. YouTube views, Spotify plays, Apple rankings, Instagram likes, Forbes lists, all inflated. Artists are now buying followers, audio streams, botted engagement, and influencer partnerships just to appear hot. These fake numbers give the illusion of success, so real people start hopping on the bandwagon. They got 3 million monthly listeners but can't sell out a Waffle House. Meanwhile, real artists with raw talent and machines behind them, they're buried by the algorithm. Their videos don't even hit 1K because the machine doesn't want thinkers. It wants trenders. In the machine age, perception is statistics. The numbers don't always prove greatness. Sometimes they just prove budget. Think about it. Humans trust popularity. If people see 20 million views, 8 million monthly listeners, #1 trending, Forbes mentions, repeated magazine headlines, they assume this must be important. That's social proof manipulation. People mistake repetition for truth and popularity for value. They got 9 million streams and can't fill a local bowling alley. Just look at AI and deepfake. All you see is AI voice clones, deepfake interviews, and fake celebrity reactions. The machine doesn't need humans anymore. It just needs believable signals. Once labels deploy the plant, reviewers validate the illusion, awards certify it, and algorithms repeat it. Reality itself becomes a marketing campaign. Times have changed. Now we got AI clones, audio tune, TikTok stars, and Instagram filters doing personality impressions. This ain't art, it's digital cosplay. Ads push the same songs, faces, and trends to feed your 24/7 until you give in and start liking them. AI is being used not to enhance art, but to replace artists altogether. Synthetic songs, fake influencers, AI written hooks, and guess what? Labels are behind it all. They own the data, they fund the platforms, they control the drip. They'll have you dancing to a chorus written by ChatGPT, sung by an AI girl with 3D lashes, and then sell you the merch. All while the real musician who wrote something with soul is stuck working 2 jobs and uploading to Bandcamp. It's bad enough we have to suffer with constant ads on everything. They now showing 3 ads videos a day on YouTube. Doing this shit purposely. If people can't see the digital brainwashing and how it's set up, sooner or later, our humanity will be gone. This is deeper than fame. This is deeper than music. This is about control, psychological, social, and spiritual. And the wild part, most people don't even know they've been programmed to participate. The craziest part about the machine isn't that it creates stars, it's that people will fight you to defend the factory. I joke around, but this is serious. Not everybody who blew up overnight is fake, but some careers are carefully staged to look organic, and that's the game. Fake humble beginnings, fake I came from nothing stories, fake bedroom studio aesthetics, fake grind narratives, sudden cosigns from major names, the instant access to magazine covers, playlists, interviews, and sponsorships. They'll tell you they were discovered in the basement, but somehow they already got label distribution, celebrity cosigns, and 8 million followers by week 2. The machine builds them to feel relatable, because relatability sells faster than obvious privilege. But this is where shit gets weird. People don't just support these personalities, they attach their identity to them. So when you question an artist, creator, or influencer, people feel like you're questioning their taste, their tribe, and their intelligence. That's why they defend mediocrity so hard. People don't want to admit they were marketed to, because that means they weren't chosen. They were following. This shit is basically blind worship. The effect is on fan pages, stan wars, excessive defending, attacking critics, acting like celebrities are gods. I mean, they'll defend an artist like they pay their rent. It ain't just music, the same formula, hot YouTube too. Some YouTube personalities are pushed the same way. There's always algorithm favoritism, fake beefs for engagement, sponsored controversy, and instant collabs with giant creators. Majority of the time, some creators don't grow. They're literally installed. So it makes the audience still believing. Everybody's watching them, so they must be worth watching. Then comes the fake gatekeepers, the reviewers, bloggers, and culture commentators who act independent, while quietly moving with the machine. Some reviewers may prioritize artists they have label relationships with, early access, interviews, event invites, exclusives, and partnerships can shape coverage. Controversy content often rewards tearing one artist down, while overpraising another. Sometimes it's not about who made the better album. It's about who got playlist access, press relationships, and the right machine behind them. Some so-called hip-hop reviewers don't protect the culture. They monetize the vision inside it. They profit off of fake beefs, clickbait takes, outraged thumbnails, culture panic, constantly pitting artists against each other, just to name a few. These dudes got 47 videos explaining why hip-hop is dead, while making ad money off of hip-hop every week. So if you see a hip-hop reviewer and all of their videos is about Drake or Kendrick Moore, they ain't no real hip-hop reviewer. They don't nurture the culture, they farm it. So once the plant is installed, reviewers validate them, the bots inflate them, the magazines certify them, and the public finishes the ritual by worshiping the illusion. The true theme here is manufactured trust. The machine doesn't just push artists, it pushes who gets to tell you what good art even is. It's deeper than music. That's control over taste itself. The machine didn't pick with TikTok, Spotify, or influencer culture. The system just changed outfits. People think media manipulation is some new conspiracy born on social media. Nah, governments and institutions have been trying to shape public perception for generations. Back in the Cold War era, Operation Mockingbird became one of the most talked about. Examples of intelligent agencies influencing journalists and media narratives. Whether it's newspapers then or social feeds now, the principle is the same. Control the story, control the people. Today's media machine is just a digital evolution of old propaganda systems. Payola never died, it went digital. Back then they paid DJs under the table. Today they boost playlists, audio play cues, homepage slots, and recommendation engines. That's modern payola. The old radio game became algorithmic favoritism. The concept of undisclosed pay-for-play has a long history, and modern streaming has reopened that debate. The DJ used to spin the record because somebody paid him. Now the algorithmic spins it because somebody made the right deal. It's the same scam, but different software update. Don't believe me?
We get back to New York, I tell Leor and Russell, I said, you know what? I don't think I want to do this shit if it ain't no money in it. Leor told me, he said, let me tell you something about the music shit, Rich. He said, this shit is all payola. He was like, I can make your grandmama the hottest bitch in the country. All I need is 6 months. He said, ain't none of this shit real. He said, the reason we telling you this because you a solid motherfucker. He said, so if you want to fuck around with it, it's good, but we just gonna let you know that ain't none of this shit real. The Seasoned Veteran album dropped. Let's Ride was the first single. That's back when the music box was out. When you used to watch the videos, you call and do the shit, right? Come on. Nigga, I'm sitting inside my mama house, Jack. The music box come on. They say, #1 debuting this week on the box. Let's Ride. I'm on. I'm like, nigga, I'm #1. I call Leor. I said, Leor, I'm #1 on the box. He said, I know, Richie, we bought the spot. Give me a minute, I'll call you back.
That's how it go too, dog.
And when he said that, I didn't like it no more.
Yeah.
They've been doing it for years, and here y'all are, still clueless. The machine keeps feeding people what's already winning, until people forget how to discover anything real. You start listening to underground jazz, and somehow Taylor Swift pops up like a jump scare. Propaganda used to be about controlling what people fear. Now it's about controlling what people admire. From intelligent error narrative control to algorithmic payola, from fake journalists to AI celebrities, the machine didn't evolve to inform us. It evolved to replace reality itself. These labels ain't what you think. You gotta ask yourself why things are getting exposed now. Why the music is dying out all of a sudden. Drake sued Lucien Grange from Universal Music Group because of payola allegations, due to allowing Kendrick's Not Like Us song getting played, and by him getting called a pedophile worldwide without any proof. Although Drake lost the lawsuit, he still exposed the machine because they did use bots and payola on that record to ruin his reputation. Kendrick did use payola and bots, but the fans didn't care. In fact, why all of a sudden your favorite artist's monthly listeners had dropped, or try to cover up your concerts having been sold out, but the fans don't care. Nicki Minaj brought up on how they use payola and artists paying awards just to get awards, but the fans didn't care. Nicki also exposed Jay-Z and Roc Nation on how they do dirty on their own artists. Roc Nation being called out by a lot of artists and people like MIA, Rita Ora, and Russ. From Master Flex saying how he feel about Jay-Z, saying he's not to be trusted. Lil Wayne on how Jay-Z curved him on the Super Bowl and chose Kendrick for New Orleans. Meek Mill recently having issues for failing to honor his promises. And Tory Lanez and Megan Thee Stallion's situation, I think with everything is going on with Tory Lanez situation, people kind of see a pattern. With all the evidence, there's still no justice to the situation. And now looking at a certain artist from Roc Nation sideways. Even with DJ Academics, they tried to interrogate him on live stream and got exposed for talking behind the scenes. Everybody's pointing at one person and label. Even TDE is having issues due to what you say? Sexual rape allegations by a lot of females. Kinda hypocritical for calling someone a pedophile. When your own label having allegations like this, but you have a label like TDE who want things in a hush-hush. Does this explain Kendrick's beating his girl allegedly at a hotel make sense? For some reason, things are exposing and being resurfaced again. See, these labels have ties with each other. They don't want you to know that. If Michael Dyson spoke the truth about Drake and Kendrick's beef, then turns around and apologized live and got dressed up for it, then you know Jay-Z have some form of power on this. But if you see an artist that's being rewarded from ruining someone's reputation, then you know what these labels are doing behind the scenes to their artists. Jay-Z interview explains everything. But guess what? The fans don't care. They can't wait to go to his next concert. Things are exposing now, where music labels are acting like a mob and lying and treating their artists like shit. There are favoritism being played. And behind the scenes of allegations and negotiations swept under the rug, people are calling out the bullshit. But it seems like people don't care. Ask yourself why real talented artists aren't being pushed. And ask yourself why they are pushing mediocre and whack shit. The machine agenda isn't about taste. It's about power. You're not watching stars rise. You're watching puppets dance. Wake up, y'all. Support real artists. Think twice before you let the media tell you what's iconic. They'll compare to this classic to this shit, which is insulting to begin with. The machine doesn't care if it's real. It only cares if it sells. It doesn't care if you're talented. It cares if you trend. And if you don't fit the script, they'll write you out. This ain't just about music, fame, or headlines. This is mind control in plain sight. Manufactured faces, synthetic hype, and recycled agendas dressed up as a culture. They don't need you to think. They just need you to click, like, share, follow, obey. You think you're choosing what to like? Nah. The choice was made before you even click play. Universal Group, Sony, Interscope, Rock Nation, they're not just record labels. They're media empires. They own half the magazines you read, from Billboard to Complex, and they control the playlists you stream, the artists you're supposed to like, and even the award shows like the Grammys and Oscars, which are more like elite family reunions than fair competitions. Kendrick Lamar didn't just win because he rapped hard. Beyonce didn't just slay. Taylor Swift didn't just drop albums. The machine positioned them, marketed them, protected them like royal investments. Even Meryl Streep's shelf full of Oscars didn't come without the machine's approval. Talent helps, sure, but favor? That's factory made. In the news, don't even get me started. CNN, MSNBC, ABC, NBC, CBS, it's not journalism. It's PR with better lighting. They don't report truth, they manage narrative. They tell you who to love, who to cancel, who to vote for, and who to hate. All while smiling behind polished scripts written by corporate handlers. The views you see on YouTube, the streams on Spotify, the followers on IG, all inflated, curated, and in many cases, botted. Even Forbes is out here crowning digital royalty based on numbers faker than a Photoshop BBL. It's not success, it's simulation. Meanwhile, the real artists is the real storytellers, the people with soul and no budget, get drowned in silence. Shadow banned by design because authenticity doesn't sell ads. Algorithms don't reward real. They reward what's marketable, manageable, and manipulable. We live in an era where bots are fans. AI makes songs, and real people can't get seen unless they sell out or scream loud enough to sound fake. The machine has hijacked culture, repackaged clout as currency. This isn't just about entertainment. This is psychological warfare. This is spiritual gentrification. And the saddest part, we've confused validity with value. We stopped being human and started performing for a system that doesn't even clap, just counts. So ask yourself this: do I like this, or was I told to? Because in a world run by machines, staying human is the real rebellion. And like always, don't fear me, hear me. R-X and Rebel Mouth out.